The city zoo is a vast comic book, but it is also where the bond of the entire family is tested. Sometimes, Dad Thomas and Mom Mary find themselves in tricky situations too. But through love and empathy, they always know how to turn conflicts into valuable lessons, letting Henry understand that family is always the most united team. Under the noon sun, Henry stood before the ice cream kiosk with longing eyes. He had just recovered from a cough last week, so when Henry looked at Mom entreatingly, Mom Mary gently shook her head, her eyes gentle but firm. "Henry, your throat still needs to rest. We will not have ice cream today." Henry was sad, but when he saw Dad Thomas returning from buying water, the boy ran over, hugged his father's leg and used his sweetest voice. "Daddy, the giraffe told me that eating ice cream makes you very happy. Buy me one, okay?" Dad Thomas, having not heard the previous conversation and wanting to pamper his son, smiled and nodded. "All right, my boy." Just as Dad was about to pull out his wallet, Mom Mary stepped over. Her eyebrows lifted slightly and her face showed a hint of confusion. Dad Thomas immediately realized something was wrong through his wife's gaze. He slightly pressed his lips together, his eyes showing remorse for unintentionally breaking Mom's decision. Dad Thomas slowly knelt, holding Henry's small shoulders. He was not irritable at all. His voice was warm and deeply explanatory. "Henry, Daddy is sorry for nodding too quickly. Mommy just reminded me that your throat is not completely healthy yet. In our family, when Mommy says something to protect your health, Daddy will agree with her too. Mommy and Daddy are a team, and our team wants you to always be healthy so you can play football tomorrow." Mom Mary also sat down next to her son, taking Thomas' hand, her eyes crinkling with overflowing love for both of them. She whispered, "See, Henry? Mommy and Daddy always want the best for you. Instead of cold ice cream, let us have a sip of just cool enough orange juice together. Mommy and Daddy will drink it with you." Henry saw his parents' unity and he was no longer sulky. He understood that Mom and Dad's team was inseparable. Henry smiled brightly. "Yes, I'll listen to both captains." In the middle of the crowded sea of people at the Sea Lion show, Henry got distracted chasing a bubble clown and lost sight of his parents for 5 minutes. Those were the longest 5 minutes of Thomas and Mary's lives. When they found Henry crying by the security booth, both parents rushed to embrace the boy. But in the midst of extreme panic and fear, Dad Thomas misspoke. He turned to Mom Mary, his face pale, his eyes wide with reproach. "Mary, you were so busy taking pictures that you let him run off like that." Mom Mary froze, her lips trembling slightly, tears threatening to fall because she was also very scared and regretful. Henry stood in the middle, seeing his parents tense, and the boy cried even louder because he felt he was the reason his parents were fighting. Realizing the fear in his son's eyes and the pain on his wife's face, Dad Thomas sobbed immediately. He closed his eyes for a second, taking a very deep breath to push back the unreasonable anger. He stepped forward, taking Mom Mary's trembling hand, his gaze becoming incredibly soft and caring. "Mary, I'm sorry," Dad Thomas whispered, his voice sincere and warm. "I was so scared that I said the wrong things. It is not your fault. It is our fault for not keeping a closer eye on him. Do not be mad at me." Mom Mary nodded slightly, resting her head on her husband's shoulder, letting out a soft sigh of relief. Then both sat down with Henry. Mom Mary comforted him. "Look, Henry, Mommy and Daddy love you so much that when we could not see you, we got very worried and lost our calm. We have apologized to each other now because our family is a warm embrace where no one blames anyone. But as you can see, if you do not hold our hands, we all feel very heartbroken. Shall we promise that from now on, we will be 3 warriors who always stick together?" Henry wiped his tears, seeing his parents smiling and holding hands again. He felt safe. He wrapped his arms around both of them. "I promise. I will not let you worry anymore." At the giraffe sanctuary, Henry stood before a large information board. He pointed to the long English text and the scientific name, Giraffa camelopardalis, and asked Mommy, "Daddy, how do you read these words? Does the giraffe friend have another name?" Dad Thomas looked at the name board, then at Mom Mary. Both were stumped because they were not sure about the correct pronunciation or the deep scientific meaning. Dad Thomas slightly scratched his head, his face showing a shy smile. Mom Mary also blinked, her lips curling in an amused smile. Instead of avoiding it or giving a wrong answer, Dad Thomas chose to be honest. He sat next to Henry. "Henry, this name is really hard and strange, is not it?" To be honest, Daddy does not know how to pronounce this scientific name correctly yet. Mom Mary added, her voice excited and encouraging. "That is right. My love, this world is so vast, and there are things that even Mommy and Daddy need to learn more about. Do you want to go on a knowledge expedition with us? We will look it up on the phone or ask the zookeeper later to see what secret is in this name." Henry's eyes lit up. He was not disappointed at all that his parents did not know. On the contrary, he found it very exciting to discover something new together. All three huddled over the phone. Mom Mary read the information aloud, and Dad Thomas explained it simply. "It turns out his name means leopard-spotted camel, Henry," Mom Mary explained. Henry laughed with delight. "So interesting. Mommy, Daddy, and I all got smarter." The three tricky situations concluded with understanding and unity. Dad Thomas and Mom Mary showed Henry that parents do not need to be perfect or always right, but they will always be honest, know how to admit mistakes, and always stand on the same side to protect their child's joy.